Welcome back to Frigiphobia, the Neon Goblin playthrough of Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. I am Morgan, your GM for this evening, and I am so thrilled to welcome you to what could very well be the final installment of this campaign leg. So, joining us for tonight is the returning cast of Gorgeous Goblins. Playing the actual Goblin Sorcerer Bard Osborne is James. Playing our human paladin Wilhelm, resident himbo, is Alden.
Yes!
Playing our Shatterkai ranger Zadrin is Prescott.
Hello.
Playing the fire genasi artificer Vulcan, we have Griffin.
Heyo.
Playing the dragonborn druid Gran, we have Kristen.
Howdy.
Playing our changeling fighter Rayston, we have Kevin.
Hello.
And playing our human wizard Velen Harpel, we have Devin.
Hello.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be a fun session. I hope you're ready. But before we get to all the horrific delights that tonight has to offer, we do have a couple of announcements to get through. First and foremost is thanking our returning supporter of the campaign, Roll20. For anyone out there who has not yet graced themselves with familiarity with Roll20, they are a system-agnostic virtual tabletop that comes fully outfitted with all the features, tools, and assets you need to make your online games just as immersive as the games that you are used to running around the table at home. Plus, right now, Roll20 is partnering with Evil Hat Productions for Evil Hat Month and is hosting several upcoming one-shots featuring smaller indie game productions. Coming up on Friday the 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific time is a one-shot I cannot wait to see. It is Thirsty Sword Lesbians, led by the game's creator, April Kit Walsh. Definitely head on over to roll20.net, check out all of their programming information for the rest of Evil Hat Month. Also check out their marketplace for all the different assets and tools they have available there. You can also currently pre-order the new Mordenkainen supplement that is coming out later this year with over 200 new monsters and NPCs that you can introduce to any 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game to spice it up and keep your players on their toes. So again, head on over to roll20.net, check them out on Twitter at Roll20app, and see everything that they have to offer. And our continued thanks for your support, Roll20. Also announcing for the last time possibly that this is a horror adventure that these players are moving through. There may be times during gameplay that our viewers find uncomfortable due to the nature of what's unfolding. If at any point you find yourself uncomfortable with how things are progressing in the game, we definitely invite you to take a moment away from the stream, let events progress, and return when it is comfortable for you to do so. Players, of course, know they also have the autonomy to stop the game if any such experience occurs for them. Definitely am going to put them through the ringer tonight. Can't wait to see how they handle it. But that is really all of the official business. What's up, Chris?
I actually have an announcement as well.
Ooh.
I taught my grandma how to use Twitch, and she is watching. Say hello.
Hello.
Welcome. You are joining on a really good session. You'll get to see some fun stuff unfold for this game. So how about to catch everybody up in our chat? We have a recap of last session and the clarification of some decision making that was done after the last stream wrapped. Who wants to get us caught up? All right, Kevin, let's have it.
All right, so bigger heavy sesh last time, y'all. We started off by having completed the trials of cruelty, not cruelty, preservation. Having completed the trial of preservation with nary a feather ruffled and only a couple spell slots used, we were riding high on that a little bit and voted to try the north and examine a frost giant queen's tomb, which we had some implication that there would be a magical weapon in. And sure enough, there was, behind two angry frost giant skeletons. So cavalierly ignoring the cracking ceiling of Grimskaya, we went ahead and had a really nasty fight with those two skeletons and retrieved an axe that we still don't know what it does because somebody refused to cast Identify on it. Who knows what's up with that, but we went ahead and moved on to the next trial, figuring that endurance probably wasn't going to be difficult and costly, right? Unfortunately, it was. The trial of endurance was a horrifying trek through the Icewind Dale wilderness, and I believe magic didn't work for some reason, so that was fun. And we wound up, almost all of us, taking at least one level of exhaustion, 2 in the case of at least 2 of our party members. And so there we sat, having completed the trial and made the endurance run, but definitely very low on resources now. In the basement of Grimskaya, still very much hoping to retrieve the Codicil of White, but kind of at a loss as to what to do. Hence the second bout of bickering. The party, however, has decided for sure on our next steps, which is that we are going to take a couple of precautions. We are going to secure the egg from the ceiling of the tower and attempt to make it safe. And we are going to examine the damage to Grimskaya in the hopes of ascertaining its cause and figuring out whether it's safe to wait any longer, or whether it's going to result in us losing our chance at the Codicil. So barring any revelation from there, we are going to grab that egg, put it somewhere in the snow, and then move right on to these next 2 trials. So fingers crossed, gang.
So before we jump into the session proper, I do want to circle back to the later announcement and thought about not mentioning it because it's kind of spoilery, but I figured it's better to throw it out there. Slight content warning for this session. There will be an instance where a very utilitarian decision will be presented to the party that can question independent values and is meant to be a very tough decision. And that is going to be the essence of the trial. Definitely just want to confirm that this is just how the adventure is written and it is meant to be a test. So that being said, please understand that this is a fantasy setting and that the decisions made in game are made on behalf of the characters and do not necessarily reflect any of our individual stances on such situations. So,
Boy, which trial is going to include that?
Who knows? You've got a couple left to pick from. Let's say we find out.
And isolation, I wonder which one.
I know which one.
We're gonna have to make a harsh moral
I
choice.
figured. I don't know. Maybe it's
So-
related to the egg. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
Hopefully,
you know?
Velen can sin eater for us.
In that case,
Speaking of the egg, yeah, I think the consensus that was reached during after stream conversation was that the party is going to be taking a little bit of time to check out the surrounding tower that has been showing the increasing signs of deterioration after the previous 2 trials were finished. While the tower is being monitored, there is a massive, over 5 foot tall, silver scaled egg that was left in the rock nest on the roof level of this tower that contained a bit of a treasure hoard. So some of the party was going to go and deal with securing that egg. So, adventurers, as we rejoin you in the lower level of the frozen giant tower of Grimskaya, many of you winded, feeling the lingering chill and ache of frostbite that whipped at your skin during this grueling trek. through a blizzard across the rigid glacier. You return to the tower feeling still a bit of a present chill, seeing more of the cracks sprawling throughout the tower and finding yourselves faced with the decision of what to do next. Adventurers, what would you like to do?
Well, Velen, Wilhelm, would either of you care to help me save that dragon egg on the ceiling, or am I going to have to go big and do it myself?
We will put it outside safely and soundly.
I will assist.
Great. Safely.
Thank you, Bella.
Yes.
You all press back up the stairs towards the main level of the tower. What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
Okay, team in the basement. Let's ascertain the crack on the ceiling. Gran, apparently you've been holding out on a magical eyeglass that I forgot about and that you forgot about too.
Yes, amazing.
Oh,
She just wrote it
yeah.
down on your character sheet. I told you. She would have never known.
Let me look at my character sheet.
Hmm.
Was it from I was out?
No, it was from
It's
the Nautilus.
monocle.
From when I
Nautilus,
was
the
out.
Monocle, yeah.
It functions as Eyes of Minute Seeing.
It's definitely in my character sheet.
Yeah.
Much better. Oh, cool. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I've got that.
Wonderful.
I have that and some rope, so I can just
Yes.
I'll take some measurements to see how far it's growing.
Does it require attunement?
No? It doesn't say it does.
Okay, then why don't I feel like Vulcan should have it since he's more, mechanically and engineering minded. He can check out the engineering
me, this-
aspects of the tower. Just for now.
I'm sorry, are we wanting to borrow it?
Give it back.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That
promise.
Easy. That easy. See?
Even though this is really neat, I'd love to take it further. Okay, I'll give it back. Who wants to hoist me up to the ceiling?
Sure, I will try. Gran and I
no.
will try, yeah.
I am going to use my staff of the Wonderlands because I have not gotten to use this yet, and okay. So
Don't
I
make a tree. Don't make a tree.
Why? I can make it any height up to 40 feet, and it's
Then
made
by
out.
all means, just don't break the castle.
I don't think it should break the castle. I can re-look at it.
No, I mean I'm just saying don't break the ceiling. I
puncture
didn't
the
know you could
ceiling,
make it any
just-
size.
Yeah. Just up to the ceiling. Maybe pushing
Yeah.
against it a little, like a little bit of extra support.
Yeah, I just thought you were just gonna smash the whole thing with a giant tree. I didn't know you could make it as small as you like.
Is 50 feet tall?
Oh,
Not
it is.
up. Let's not.
Oh
not risk-
Oh.
I
Yeah.
was interested to see if you would check.
This is
Raisen
obvious.
turns to Velen and is like, should one of us have stayed down there, do you think?
You're
No,
talking
they've
about
got
our
it,
friends
they've
are
got it.
responsible
They're
and
fine.
well, hopefully Zadrin is in charge down there.
They're
Oh,
wise,
they'll be
they're
fine.
wise,
They'll be
They
fine.
know what they're doing.
Fine, I will lift you up then.
Yes.
I'm also
Okay.
We can do it together, yeah.
Yeah, so Zadrin get on Grant's shoulders and I'll get on your shoulders.
How high is the ceiling to begin with?
I'm so curious about that.
This tower is sized for giants.
Yeah.
You do need
So
So we're not dumb.
ceiling is 30 feet,
Oh, 30
Yeah,
feet.
so that's-
Okay. Yeah.
What, 7 on 6?
which is a story and a half, to be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my
7 on
mind,
6 on 5? Is that a rough estimate? Grant, you 7 feet
Let's
tall?
try this, okay?
seven
It'll be disadvantaged because I'm exhausted.
Tell you what, because it's Gran and Zadrin who have impossibly high passive perception, even though this really should be passive investigation, you can see that there are cracks elsewhere beyond just the ceiling.
Ah,
There
Yeah.
are areas of floor, some sections of the wall,
Yeah, you
especially
mentioned
the
the wall, yeah.
support bearing
So this is-
pillars.
Like straight up crumbling.
Yeah.
That you would need to give me an investigation check for.
No.
I will
We should get around to
investigate
that.
Yeah, that's what we were doing.
with my
Yeah, we were-
minute.
Muppet Man first.
We will aid you, Vulcan.
You already
and-
rolled it. You already rolled it.
Yeah, but
got-
that'd be disadvantage. Yeah. I will aid you, Griffin. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
let's see. Who's leading the charge on investigation?
I'm leading the charge in investigation.
Oh.
Do you have any points of exhaustion?
No,
And you
I'm
are using the eyes
exhaust-free.
of minute seeing.
and I have the eyes of minute seeing.
So it is a roll at advantage.
Well, how's about that? 21.
21. Okay. Working together, needing some support from Gran or Zadrin to see into higher cracks on the walls, or getting down on your hands and knees and feeling the cold sort of soaking through. You can see that the cracks, while they are sprawling across surface area, they don't go very deep. It seems that they are currently only reaching through the heavy icy rime that's built up on the surface of the stone construction beneath.
Fantastic. This is really good for us and the team.
It would be pretty
Yeah.
embarrassing if the tower wasn't actually falling apart and we'd wasted all this time freaking out about nothing.
It's just what you see for now.
Yeah.
Can I-
including the
can I
walls that you
estimate-
mentioned.
Is this can I estimate how quick this is gonna happen?
You don't really have a basis for comparison because it's static as you're examining it. It's not like it's actively continuing to spread.
Well, then it's gonna take forever. Then it must if it's stone still while I'm staring at it.
Zadrin, you did make a note
Mhm.
of it before the last trial. Why don't you give me your own investigation check?
At disadvantage because exhaustion. Yay.
If Gran wants to help you, you can make it a straight roll.
Okay. Do you
Of
want?
course, I will help you.
She can guide your efforts.
Oh. Then. Oh, where'd my D4s go? But that would be. I rolled a 9, so that would be a 14
14 total.
total. Yeah.
Gran, did you cast guidance on him?
I did. Well, I don't have guidance. I just did the help action.
Okay. In that case, 14.
Yeah.
You can tell, and you kind of got this impression before, but upon further investigation, your theory is kind of confirmed that the progression of this damage, if you will, is commiserate with what you first noticed after the first trial. Even though the amount of time that passed was dramatically different from one to the other, the progression of the damage seems the same.
Steady. Okay. I'll mention that to Vulcan and Gran. That the amount of damage that I saw after the first trial it progressed about the same amount of damage after the second trial. Just maybe like time didn't seem too much of a difference.
Okay.
Maybe do you think it's
Time-based.
actually? Yeah, I think from actually opening the doors and going through the trap.
Maybe. Well, last trial we did have that emblem of Auril, the snowflake behind us, that then cracked and withered away at the end of the trial. So is it?
We might have even had it at the first trial, and
Never
the only
noticed.
2 people who could have noticed wanted to kill us and was too scared to even say anything.
Yeah.
Eh, Vulcan's a thinker. He's a smart
I
boy.
think I do a little thinking every now and again. That was a treat.
So as basement crew ponders this thought, rooftop crew, as you go to retrieve the egg. Osborne, where are you during all this? Which team did you stick with? Or are you off doing your own thing?
Oh.
Of course.
Oh,
Okay.
best friend.
Well then, rooftop crew, are you just going straight to your purpose to retrieve the silver scaled egg?
Mhm.
I think since we
don't look at
don't
me like
know
that. I
the
never know
I'm
tower-
what
gonna
he does.
wander around and give you some reason to attack me with some strange beast. I ain't a newbie here,
I
madam.
was kind of hoping Osborne was just sitting on the stairs watching basement team just like fuck around.
Okay, we're not fucking
Why
around.
not?
Hold on a minute.
Sorry. Investigating.
Watching basement team. Let's give them some respect. Solve the entire debate for us.
They did.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Some good clues, yeah, for sure. All right, rooftop team. So making straight for the rooftop. Again, as you finished your last trial, you went from early morning to pressing into the evening. So as you breach the trap door leading up onto the roof, the wind is still biting. There is still the low-hanging snow fog, but like you did yesterday afternoon, you are beginning to see beams of diffused sunlight that pierce through at very heavily slanted angles from where the sun sits just above the horizon. You can see that the packed ice that surrounds the island is beginning to crack and break off into sheets that are then drifting out into the sea of moving ice, aptly named. You can also see bits of the shipwrecks that surround this island beginning to dislodge from their icy graves and float to the surface. You see the occasional splintered mast breaking the rippling, glassy surface of the sea. Still cold, but you're definitely seeing the progression of the never-ending winter seemingly ending after all.
While we're up here, but before we get started with the egg, not even spending a whole lot of time trying to do this. Is Grimsky itself on a hill or has a good viewpoint of the whole island?
It does sit at the highest elevation of the island, yes.
I will take over the owl just long enough to do a quick sweep around the whole tower, trying to see if there's any figures or evidence of people, of tracks or anything. I don't even anticipate that the owl's going to be able to see much, but if there's any obvious oh shit, an army, or a handful of people.
Why don't you give me a perception check for your owl? Who rolls at advantage with owl stats?
Yes. There we go. Okay, that was good. That was 22.
22, that is pretty good. So beginning the coasting path around the tower, again, the snow fog is still present and especially rolls off the sides of the mountain and conceals a lot of the lower elevation of the island. But with the 22, your owl will relay back to you that it sees at distant points on different locations around the island, humanoid figures close to the shore. And one larger bipedal but more beastly than humanoid creature that is approaching, sometimes on its hind legs, sometimes on all fours, from the east. That one is still far enough out that it can't really make out any details, but it is very obviously moving and in the direction of the tower.
Gotcha. And all of these are super far away. It's just color differentiation from snow.
Yeah,
so
pinpricks against a white background.
Okay. I'll relay that to rooftop team for now.
Ooh. You're telling me that there is a bipedal, but sometimes on all fours, lanky, overly tall humanoid figure who is loping threateningly toward the fortress.
That's extra.
That's all just the information, right? I'm not extrapolating, right?
No, I mean, mostly it was just the color differentiation from snow, but that's what I surmised, yes.
Well, I feel like we have an obvious suspect for our mysterious howling monster follower.
I agree.
Yes?
I was going to wait until we got back down to ask what direction the howls came from that Prescott heard, or Zadrin, sorry.
Well, let's get the egg down and secret it away somewhere. But hey, new
So-
information. Am I right?
So you both can carry heavy stuff fairly easily.
Oh, yes, I'm so fine.
I'm going to cast, if you guys are all right with it, I will cast Tinsa's floating disc, and whenever you feel like you need a break or just ease the load a little bit, you can let it handle some of the weight long enough to adjust your grip, and it'll just slowly follow me. And so you can follow the disc, and if you feel like you're struggling, you set down for a second.
So can the disc carry the full weight of this egg?
Not the full weight, but as long as you're
okay.
holding
Got
like
it.
300-ish pounds of it, it should be fine.
Oh,
Oh, between the two of us, that's
no problem. Ah, yes.
Aha!
So if you let go of it entirely, the disc will probably break,
Okay,
and the
got
egg
it.
will hit the ground.
Don't
So
let go.
Well, let's not do that on the stairs then.
Mhm.
Velen, what is your passive investigation?
18.
How close are you getting to the egg as you make these preparations?
I think I gotta get. I probably get right next to it, like, well, because they'll have to lift the egg to for the disc to even matter at all. So I'd probably be like with them, walking towards the egg.
Okay, noted. I will send you a whisper and roll 20.
Mm.
All right, so we are starting with Wilhelm and an embiggened Rayston moving the 5 foot and change tall, not to mention how wide, scale plated, draconic of some nature egg.
Let's
I'm
get
gonna
this
need-
bread.
I'm going to need strength athletics checks from both of you, please, or one of you at advantage.
Well, I'm exhausted. Rayston.
Yeah, I'm exhausted too, but I get natural advantage when I'm in giant form.
Then I aid you, Morgan. How does that work?
They don't stack like that. When there's a disadvantage and an advantage, they always just net out regardless how many there are. It would
Then
work
we
in your
definitely
favor.
give it to Wilhelm because I have -1 to strength.
All right. So I'm straight rolling. Okay. So strength athletics.
Strength athletics.
Okay. 21.
21. Okay. Sizing up the task before you, Wilhelm, you are not one to shy away from the difficulty of just brute strength required labor. You are able to sort of find a way to get a bit of a handhold almost under some of the edges of the larger scales and point this out to Rayston. And it takes a little bit of clumsy fumbling. It's not a very wieldy object, especially for its size, but you manage to extract it from the rock nest, which was going to be the hardest challenge since the walls of the nest themselves are ranging between 4 and 6 feet. It is almost a comical sight to witness, but with sheer cooperation and with some occasional assistance from the Tinser's disc, you're able to gingerly extract this massive egg from the rock nest and get it down the hatch and down the first set of stairs. That is your first check. So let's go ahead and have a subsequent strength athletics check. You can do it the same way if you'd like.
12.
Hey, 12. You definitely feel the edges of those scales starting to cut into your hands. You can feel your shuddering muscles. You do have Tinser's disc there. So as you near the bottom of the stairs and miss the last one, sort of catching it with your heel in that weird way you do when you miss a step, disc is there to cushion the fall, but the egg does slip. I'm going to need one more check to see if you can rally and get it down.
All right. I'm using dice that my stepson bought me for Christmas. So
Aw.
don't you make
Uh-oh.
me fight my stepson.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's great. 2022.
Okay, that is enough. Those of you in the basement level hear a very muffled, distant metallic clang as the egg impacts the disc, but no additional commotion as Wilhelm and Rayston together, Power Bros, are able to get the egg. Where are you taking it?
Outside
The rock
into a snowdrift.
impacted right outside the tower in the snowy area above the steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we are going to bury it in the snow, either next to or under the corpse of the rock.
Okay, yeah. So with that strength check, easily enough, you're able to get it through. The doorways are all large enough since this tower was built for giants. The rock is still there. The remains no longer steaming in the snow. You can see that there's a fine glistening layer of fresh powder that's fallen upon it. You can't really bury an egg of this size quickly, but you can definitely just nestle it down so it's not going to roll away, and can drape one of the massive rock wings over it to shield it from view.
I want to like full on
Bloody.
try to like hide it so that it would necessitate like an investigation check to even know it's there. Is that doable?
You can definitely roll for it. It's going to be a high DC since it's such a massive object, and it's going to take time to do so. We'll say the higher the roll, the less time it takes, but it is still going to take some time.
I'm going to go for it. And if I am interrupted and pulled away by other people, that's their decision, I guess.
Mhm.
So we'll make this a sleight of hand check.
Nice. Okay. Not as high as it could be, but that is still a 21.
Okay, with a 21, it would take about 20 minutes, but you can successfully position the corpse of the rock, sort of realign the snow drifts and make them look like they've naturally blown that way, and conceal the egg from view where it looks like it wouldn't be discovered unless someone went poking around the remains.
All right.
As long as
Wilhelm,
Velen,
Velen,
as long as
with him taking
Velen
the time?
remains patient throughout that time, Wilhelm's cool with that. He's like looking at Velen, he's like, don't worry, he's very good at what he does. We'll be out here in like any second.
Velen, up to you. Are you waiting around that long?
I'll say that Velen probably spends the 20 minutes doing like the owl scouting. Just we can just consider, no new information gained. Just like she's still trying to be like on the lookout, mainly for an avarice. That's like her big back of mind worry.
Okay, so we'll just use the roll you had before in that short amount of time. I will say the one additional bit of information you gained just from committing that amount of time is that the larger creature moving in the direction of the tower is moving fairly slowly.
Do I have any sense of how long it'll take it to get to us?
That would need a survival check.
I'll try that. At disadvantage. Nope, nothing. It's a hard nothing.
Y'all beat a pretty quick track towards this place, and it still took you a few days, so take that for what you will.
Oh, is it like edge of island far, or is it like...
This one's a little closer than edge of island, but it's still no more than 2/3 of the way inland. All right. As y'all take this time to conceal the rock egg, basement crew, you have been doing your investigation. Is there anything else anyone would like to accomplish during this time? I'll say, Osborne, you really haven't committed a lot of manual effort to anything. Basement crew, your efforts, will say, are minute enough that y'all could still mark a short rest over this cumulative time period. You would be right at that hour mark, so I'll go ahead and give it to you. Velen, same. I'm going to say though, Rayston and Wilhelm, since so much of your task was physical exertion, you wouldn't be able to manage a rest in that amount of time. So short rest, you can roll your hit dice normally, again, since the current iteration of Owl is no longer present.
Morgan,
Yes.
could I have also in that time changed my thieves tools to masonry tools.
You tell me, what does it say for doing
It
that?
says
as an
I
artificer?
can do that during and coinciding with a short rest.
I'll say masonry tools and thieves
But
tools.
magically.
Yeah, they're pretty different.
Well, it's just
Tell you what.
it's part of my class features.
Yeah,
But
but that's assuming that's what you're doing for your short rest and you have other goals you're accomplishing. So let's do this.
Okay.
Give me an Arcana check just to see if you can quickly enough progress through these magical steps to accomplish this in addition to your investigations.
19.
Yeah, easily enough.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But this
But you
place
have
is
made
made of
choices.
rock. So I can do something maybe.
All right. Some of you feeling a little bit less winded than you did the better part of an hour ago. You can all eventually reconvene in this lower level of the Fortress of Grimskaya. What would you like to do next?
Convey information that the cracks only seem to be the ice on the outside. The cracks seem pretty shallow for now. And also they seem to only progress when we go through a trial, not the time it takes. But not 100% certain if it's a full conversion. But yeah.
My friends, if I can have a long rest, wonderful. But if we are going to do this, let's get this bread.
I always love to cut this guy's jib.
I would certainly love a long rest. I've been advocating that since I thought the tower was going to fall down. But
Well, since,
ultimately, I could go for more.
I mean, since the time is not really the issue here, I don't see why a long rest wouldn't be okay. Really, the problem is going to be opening the next door.
Does anyone remember what direction the roars came from?
Do you remember?
No, it's not my notes.
Oh,
I
see,
feel
this
like
isn't
it's the
Zach's fault.
north?
This is Prescott's fault.
Northish?
Northeast. I'm going northeast.
Well, the Yetis are to the east. I remember that. And the caves to the east. But I don't remember exactly the direction of the roar.
Zadrin would, though.
Yeah,
It was east by northeast.
east by northeast. Okay.
Sorry.
What I think we saw whatever made though the noise headed this way rather slowly, but
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a how many long rests worth of time before it appears, but or if it's coincidence, if it's just traveling this way.
What it look like?
Well, it just looked like a blur. It ran and then it was on all fours and then it sort of loped about.
What if it's the were polar bear? You guys remember that?
We were supposed to find one of those, right?
We were supposed to find one of those.
Man, there are so
I
many
think
dropped threads in our
You
tale.
followed us here from 10 towns for revenge.
Maybe. We did nothing to it though, so why would it be for
We
event?
were just supposed to go find it. It was the one that found the
Swam.
answers.
Yeah.
No, I
Moving
have no
ice.
idea.
I can't believe you remembered that.
Yeah.
If the party decides to do a long rest, I'd be willing to play ball if I can get your collective word that we're not leaving here until I have the codicil, if it's within all possible means.
I mean, we can
got
hunker
in on
down
that.
in the hut dome, right in this room, and just hang out and watch the ceiling. And if it cracks any further, we can stop and just go straight through the rest of the trials.
From what it looks to me, that the winter is ending. You have paid your part of the bargain. We owe you this book, and we will get it to you.
I appreciate it.
I'm
And I do
with
like
him.
that idea as well,
Yeah.
Royston. If we see any cracking, we can reassess. If it is truly a trial by trial basis, then so be it. If we're not worried about the tower falling apart anytime soon, would it be useful to potentially block or bar the front door so we're not surprised?
I mean,
On
if we're
this-
in the dome,
On this side,
Uh,
well,
I would
we
almost
have
rather have the escape route open than I would like.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it did take all of us all at once to push the doors open.
I'm inclined to agree.
we can maybe just
I have a
push
lot
it
of trust for that
closed.
tiny hut.
Want to push it shut?
I put all my life in the hut.
My only worry is we have an adversary who can turn invisible.
But we're going to be taking shifts of watch because that's part of a long rest, right? So people will
Yes.
be awake.
Hmm.
So we will not be caught by surprise if something happens.
Just putting it out there.
Last time we were ambushed by an enemy while we were in the hut, it was a god, and we kicked its ass.
Couldn't
So-
even get through the hut. Couldn't even
if,
do it.
If the doors were easier to open, I would definitely would have barred the doors shut. But seeing as it literally took all of us to open the door in the first place,
Was the door closed or is it still just open?
It's still
'Cause we-
open. Yeah, it's
we just
it's
walked
hanging
through it.
open. Yeah.
Probably why we're so
yeah,
cold.
when we first got here, it took all of us to open.
At the risk of inviting some kind of divine punishment by some actually competent god,
But just all of them. We're not insulting any of you, please.
no, we're throwing shade at Aura the Frost Maiden.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Step
This
up
is
again.
still her like house.
Put
Probably
you
not.
down once, we'll do it more. But,
God.
Anyway, I think that's fine. We beat her in a fight. But the point is
Free
that specifically because of that, I mean, what a big nasty guy or some kind of snarky tiefling, whoever could possibly be coming after us. I'm confident. I feel confident.
Also, well, and you understand the tieflings got to pass the trials just like us, I think. So we'll see her go into a door, and then we'll get her when
Anybody remember when we kicked her ass? Just
I
straight
don't
up
know.
in the street of Bryn
Well, she
Shander?
kind of just dropped some
No,
gargoyles
she
on
just
us and
left.
went away, so I don't believe that.
No,
She could be
She
cooler
she
than we
straight
thought.
up stood and fought for like a good couple of turns,
I
and
just
then
remember the.
we
I just
did
remember
like
the
80
gargoyles.
damage, and she dipped, bleeding out into the snow.
All right, well, if you can take 80
I
damage,
remember
I'm
this
scared.
very clearly.
I can't take it down. Oh god.
All right.
I'll go ahead and cast Leoman's tiny head.
Door is left open.
Mhm.
I guess so. And I'll do it in the basement level. Is it only the center area that's like slidey ice? Is like the doorway entrance to any of these trials? Is that still ice? Is it like every floor ice or?
All the floors are ice coated stone. The central chamber of this lower level seemed best suited for Akuma's slipping and sliding just because of the amount of open space.
Gotcha. Okay, in that case, I'll just put us I'll pick like a corner, like something like one of these areas, just so we're it's mostly wall. We don't have to look. Actually, I'll get us a view of the staircase. That's probably more important. So maybe here.
Say 10-foot diameter or radius.
Radius.
The 2 squares or 4 squares.
So
Yeah, 10-foot radius.
all right. So you all have the comfort of Leoman's tiny hut established for you here. Who is going to take first watch as the rest of the party beds down for a long rest?
I feel very, very tired.
I'll take first watch.
I will take second.
And then I'll take the last 4 hours.
I technically already have a long rest worth of stuff, so I can take a watch.
Oh no.
Is it
Okay.
Not working?
Okay. Well, we'll
Okay.
take a quick break. The stream will disconnect, but give us just a few minutes and we will be back online in just a moment.
I'm watching it work right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hang out. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gran, you said you were going to take the first rest.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's freezing and I'm freezing.
Second watch.
Stream.
I think Vulcan took first.
First watch.
Okay.